Hey Joey, coming in here with, listen, it's February, and even though Valentine's Day has passed, February is the month of Valentine's Day, so this is still on theme and okay. I recently watched Larry Reads' video that was her top 20 book boyfriends. I love that idea, so I put together a little list and have collected the books I'm going to talk about. I've broken them down into 4 parts. We've got classic romance men, fantasy men, my maybe questionable ones that you might be like, what on earth are you talking about? And then my top 3. So I have 20. I didn't think I was going to be able to come up with 20 because I feel like I'm not very good at remembering things. But I looked around at my shelves. I have 20. So we'll start with classic romance men. Starting off real strong is Beau from Out on a Limb. He's just like, all of Hannah Bonham Young's heroes are like perfect while also being like flawed real humans, but he just like cares about her so much, and this story being like strangers to friends to lovers is like lovely and beautiful, and I love him dearly. So he's on the list. I'm not doing these in any particular order because it's more fun to do them in these sort of categories, and it would take me 18 years to put them in any sort of like actual order other than the top 3. So that's the story there. The next one is Anson Hunt from Fragile Sanctuary. This is the stunning like deluxe edition of this book, but I don't know what it is about him actually. He's like grumpy. I think it's because he is featured as like a side character in the Lost and Found series, and he helps those characters so much while like doing it begrudgingly, but it's just like, it's who he is as a person. Like he can't say no, despite the fact that like he says no all the time because he does not like doing things because he's grumpy and just kind of like mean. But like the being grumpy and mean but also like doing things for people you care about, I think is what it is. And I just like, he just keeps getting called back in, and I just wish he would give my guy a break. But he's on the list. Every time I see him in any of these books in this Spiritfall series, I'm like, hey! Next, kind of on a similar note, is Romeo from Loving Romeo. This Magnolia Fall series is maybe my favorite Laura Pavlov series I've read. I don't really know. I kind of like all of them. But when I read this book, I think I read it all in one sitting, but I was just like, I was so deeply immersed, and I knew that I had to pick a Laura Pavlov hero because I love... Did I just say hero? I hate that I did that. I knew I had to pick a Laura Pavlov man because I love her books, and I was like, okay, who will it be? And immediately I was like, it's Romeo. He's down bad for his girl, and he is there for his friends, and he's such a little sweetie. Love him. Next, Kai. Kai? Listen, I know that all the girlies love Isaiah, and I love Isaiah too. And Ryan Shea, because Ryan Shea is like acts of service king, but something about Kai, the single dad of it all, just like, I don't know. I just think he's so hot. Like I was like reading and I was like, oh yeah, he's hot. So he's on the list. Love Kai. Next up, this is kind of... I had a really hard time choosing which of the men from these books to put on this one, but I've decided on Luke Brooks from Done and Dusted. All of Lila Sage's MMCs are amazing, fantastic, and I do love Gus and his mustache, but something about Luke, I don't know. His relationship with Emmy, like, I don't know. Luke Brooks can get it. I love him. Next up, this one was also kind of like a toss-up. I was like, I don't know if I should put this one in here because there is another one by this author on the list, but I have multiple that are from multiple authors, so it works out. But Weston Beaumont? Girl! Like, another one that's like, you read his description and you're like, he's hot. And he like is hot in his actions as well. Like he there's a running theme of like people who take care of their people. I love that. And I love West. I am so excited for Wildside. Wildside? Yeah, it's Wildside. I'm so excited for Wildside. But I don't think anything's gonna top West and Beaumont, if I'm being for real. Jacob. This was another hard one of like, between all of the Abby Jimenez men, who am I choosing? And I like all of them for different reasons, but Jacob and his anxiety, me too, pal. And I just like, I think that this has like a notes element. Yeah, like they like write letters back and forth because they're not good at like talking in person. He's such a sweetie. I like him so much. On kind of the opposite end of the spectrum is Logan. I hate the cover of this book. I don't, you know, but everyone's favorite off-campus man is Garrett. And anyone whose favorite off-campus man isn't Garrett, their favorite is Dean. But my favorite is Logan. When I read this series the first time, I just like, I thought he was such like, first of all, he's the only like dark-haired man, because Garrett has like light brown hair, I think, and I think Dean does as well. Dean might even be blonde. Dean's blonde, isn't he? And I also was picturing that guy from Big Time Rush. Is his name also Logan? I'm pretty sure his name is also Logan. And so that's like what was brought to my mind, and he was my favorite member of Big Time Rush, so Logan has a spot on the list. And then this is a recent one. Jack. I tabbed this book. This is not the only tabbed book on the list, because if I like the thing enough, I'm gonna tab it. But listen, I'm dating a teacher. Jack is a teacher. He's got like humor and banter, and Jack. I don't know what, like, I feel like over and over again I'm just gonna be saying the same thing about these men, but like, for the most part they all look the same. They're either cowboys or dark-haired men, and like, I like what I like, you know? They're all very similar. So that was the romance category, so we can now move in to the fantasy category, starting off so strong with Wendell from Emily Wilde's Encyclopedia of Fairies. This is not a romance book. Don't get it twisted. But there is like a slow burn, rivals to lovers thing that's happening barely in this one and kind of in the next one. But I love them dearly. And I love Wendell because he's so, like, I don't even know. I just love him. He makes me smile every time he's on the page. And I'm always just like, about Wendell, so he's on there. Carden. This is so hard to read, but this is my like fancy special edition of Cruel Prince, and it was the one that was the most easily accessible to me. It's like velvet. Is this kind of a bully romance? Yeah. Is it kind of not a romance at all? Yeah. There is a romance, but that is not what the book is about. But I loved it. I ate up every crumb and everything. And the letters are gonna get me every time. I wanted to scream and cry and throw up, but I love Carden, and every art of Jude and Carden together is my favorite thing ever. Julian. I feel like this almost could have gone in the like hear me out, because they're like barely a thing in this one and then continue to barely be a thing, and he do be lying, but not to me. And I think he is so suave and such a cutie. Our final one in the fantasy category, but not our final romance man, because there are definitely some in this sort of hear me out situation, is Raven. This is my beautiful stunning copy of One Dark Window, which I love dearly. He barely talks. And but he is like down bad. And I just like something about him. I think it's because he's so mysterious and I don't know anything about him, really. But when we get his point of view in Two Twisted Crowns, he made it on the list. I have 4 of these, like, girl, what are you talking about? This first one is that it's the wrong, well, I don't know if that's a spoiler. I don't know. Slight spoilers for the Inheritance games for the next, like, 25 seconds. It's the wrong part of the love triangle. I thought I was right and I was wrong. Grayson Hawthorne. If I was Avery, I would have picked Grayson. That's really all I can say. Love him. Wish he would just be able to catch a break. This one is just that, like, this is not a real person. Like, fate. And, like, Death could have made it on the list. He didn't. But, like, throughout Belladonna and Foxglove, every time Death spoke to Cigna, I was like, hello. Because, like, the voice in the audiobook just, like, sounds hot. It's a lady talking as a man. Like, it's not even, but it's just so, like, decadent. And I feel the same way about Fate. The voice actress is doing crazy things with the way that she talks as Fate, and just, like, the way, like, it's again that, like, kind of, like, cockiness, the, like, suave, like, because Blythe does not like him for a very long time, but he is, like, doing, I don't even know, something about it. I was like, hello. But again, he's, like, Death is smoke and mirrors, and Fate can, like, change what he looks like. Like, we don't even know what he looks like, but, like, his personality is good. I like it a lot. As I was putting this list together, I was like, you know what? I'm putting him on the list. Kale. Specifically in this book and Kingdom of Ash. Not prior to that. Definitely not in Crown of Midnight. Definitely not in Heir of Fire. But in Tower of Dawn, once he finally, like, gets his stuff together, and the way that he treats... Is it Irene? Is it Urine? I don't know. But... hello. He's just... I don't know. Something about him. He made it on the list. And then this last one, again, is like... we don't even know him. But it's Rune. I picked this book because I feel like it's the one he's in the most, or like when he first shows up. This is another one that I tabbed. But... I just... like, again... and he, get this, looks like every one of these suckers that I've mentioned so far. So that's probably it, but he also just has that kind of, like, he's just like a cool guy, and I like that about him. So that is, we're down to the top 3, and I think these I am gonna put in order because I think I can. At number 3, we have Theo Woof Silva. This is the only Elsie Silver book I've reread. I love this book so much. And I love Theo. And everything about him. He is just, he's my favorite Elsie Silverman. And I just, like, can't get him out of my head. I think about him every day. Number 2 is our third SJM man. But our best one, Dorian. Again, not a single one of these is the actual love interest ever. But I love them dearly. Dorian got me from first sight. And is he another dark-haired man? Yes. Is that why I like him so much? Probably. But I love everything about him. Every time anything bad happens to him, I want to cry and throw up. And he takes number 2. And if you know me, even at all, you know that number 1 is Percy Jackson himself. This is my original busted copy of The Lightning Thief that I've read like 15 times. No one will ever top him. For me, he, like, I have a whole Rick Riordan shrine. This is, like, my thing. He is the ideal man. He just, like, he's got the strength, he's got the honor, he's so good to Annabeth. Loyalty might be his fatal flaw, but it is my favorite thing about him. So those are my top 20 book boyfriends as of right now, the end of February. Subject to change at any time, could change in like an hour. But man, fictional men. Thanks so much for watching. If you're not Joey and you haven't subscribed, feel free to do so. I post on a whim